This is a completely customizable Minecraft 1.17 survival villager trading hall that can hold over 40 villager trades, and it also gives you discounts. Don't you go anywhere. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode from me, Avomance, in my Minecraft 1.17 survival farms tutorial series. Today it is a completely customizable, expandable villager trading hall that you can put whatever trades you want. Oh, and by the way, you also get villager discounts off of curing zombie villagers. The base concept of this hall has been magpied from Logical Geek Boy, and I've put a bit of an Avomance twist, but shout out to Logic for doing the base concept. What you need for this farm is inside this chest. These top two rows are what you need per villager pod. So obviously only one workstation per pod, one wall per pod, one observer per pod. So multiply that up by the number of pods that you're going to do. I'm going to be doing 24 pods. Then for the delivery system, you need the stuff in this row right here. And then depending on how big you're going to make it, you need a certain number of blocks. Now, I don't know how many blocks you're going to need because I don't know how many bits you're going to do, but I'd say a number of stacks of different blocks. You're going to need perhaps a name tag, or throw something at a zombie so as it holds it so it doesn't despawn, and you're going to need some decorative blocks which are represented by these oak leaves, a few stone slabs, and a lightning rod to stop everything going up in flames and your villagers turning into witches. For the main workings of this farm, and there will be a little bit of decoration around the outside that is completely optional, you are going to need a rectangle that is 12 tall by 25 across. You can make it longer if you wish, but 25 works really well. Where we have a green wall there, we're going to be replacing that green wall with the sticky piston. Where we've got red wall, we're going to be placing redstone on top of each of those blocks. And where we have got that cobbled deep slate, we're going to make a one high wall out of a block of choice. You should have something that looks a little bit like this. And then with a wall, it doesn't matter what wall it is, cobblestone, stone brick, it's entirely up to you. On the redstone next to that piston, place a wall and put one on each and every one. Once you've done that, you can then grab whatever block you want to make your floor out of and completely surround the entirety of the rest of the build. Now, if you wanted to variegate your floor just to make it look a little bit more interesting, perhaps with this oak, I'll put in some of this strict oak log as well to make it look nice. It's entirely up to you. You make the floor out of whatever you want. So your floor should look a little bit like this, and then what you want to do is wherever you have got one of your walls here, stick a trapdoor on the edge and flip it down. Trapdoor on the edge, flip it down all the way along both sides wherever you have got a wall. Once your trapdoors are in on both sides, you want to place a temporary block on the corner of each of these, and then on top of that temporary block place a slab on both sides. Bring it forwards one there and then get rid of your temporary block. Now we're going to run slabs all the way along the back here, and where we have gaps between the fence posts, we're going to come out twice like this. But then we're going to remove these sections, so you've got kind of little jutty slabs coming out like that around the walls on each and every time. You can do that on both sides. And you should have something that looks a little bit like that. These bottom slabs covering up the areas that the wall is not all the way along the entire length. Now come around the back and shift click a temporary block onto that trapdoor, and then come the other side, shift click a temporary block onto that trapdoor. You only need one temporary block on each side. Then grab an observer, flip an observer there. You can see the redstone bum is facing backwards and the little redstone face is facing towards me between those two sets of slabs. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to get another slab, and this time it's going to be a top slab. I'm going to put a top slab right there. I'm then going to get another observer, place it there, top slab there, observer there, top slab there, and I'm going to do that on both sides, and I'm then going to remove that temporary block, so we've just got the observers kind of hanging there in the air. And when you finish, you'll have these observers hanging in the air, being held by the top slab between them, with the bottom slabs coming out still in the same place they weren't before. Then place a block on the back of each and every one of the observers, then come around the other side, and on top place a sticky piston facing outwards in the same direction as the observer, and then finally place a dot of redstone on top of each of those blocks. Do that for all of the observers. And you should have something that looks exactly like this, with those sticky pistons, the redstone, the blocks, right on top of those observers like that. Then grab yourself a stair, whatever stair you would like, and place an upside down step on each of these sticky pistons, plus the gaps in the middle as well, on both sides. And you should find it looks like that. Now, grab yourself 24 workstations. The workstations you get depend on what it is you want to trade. So if all you want are enchanted books, then get yourself 24 lecterns. If you want a variety of trades, then get yourself a variety of workstations. And once you've got your workstation, come along to any one of these walls and just place your workstation on top of the wall. Then switch your workstation if you want to, place a workstation on top of the wall. The reason we place this down on a wall is because the wall is ever so slightly taller in terms of its hitbox than the floor, which means the villager can't walk past it. It's got something above its head and it cannot walk past the wall. That means that we can remove that workstation if we don't like the trade that the villager is offering us. We can just break out the workstation and replace it, and the villager will change its trade as long as you haven't traded with it yet. And these bottom slab arms will stop any villager that is stuck in its pod from picking up one of the other workstations and switching its allegiance, because that could really mess up your trading hall. So I've placed a load of different workstations just randomly. It doesn't really matter what I'm doing for the demonstration. Quite a lot of lecterns, but some others as well. Then grab some string and onto the face of each observer, place a bit of string. You should find that that shoots out the stair that is above the observer like that, and do that on all 24 stations. Now come to the outside of your farm and place any block you want, again structural block, all the way along the entirety of each edge like this. And then once you've gone the entire length, get yourself, I like to use glass so you can see inside, and place 2 glass on each of these. So as you're making a 2 high glass wall for the entire length of the side. Do that on both sides. So you should have 2 sets of glass walls like that. Pick one end, doesn't matter which end, and place 2 blocks of glass just to cover it up for now. We're going to be covering up this section as well. Maybe do that with a block of choice. Doesn't matter again which block you use. And that way the zombie that you're going to be putting in there can't get out this end. Don't block off the other end just yet. Come inside your zombie run, and where you haven't got a trapdoor, so for example here, place a torch on the wall. Now you don't have to do it in every single one, do it in every other one. So not that one, but put one there, not that one, put one there. You could even do fewer torches than this if you wish. This is to make sure nothing spawns inside your farm, which would be a bit of a disaster. Do that on both sides. Now grab a lever and place a lever in front of each of the workstations like this. Every single one of them, so you need 24 levers for this. And once you've done that, throw each lever just once. Now you'll notice underneath that sticky piston is down. If we throw the lever, that lights up that redstone and the sticky piston is up. That is the position you want it to be in. What happens now is if you throw that lever again, that drops that block just inside there. The villager is going to be stood there, and that's going to expose it to the zombie to allow you to make it a zombie villager, to cure it, to get better trades. That will always now be stuck to the sticky piston no matter what you do. And the function position is facing towards the block like that. And you can see there that all of those sticky pistons are now extended. We're getting close to done now. What we want to make is a 2 high corridor across this series of holes that we have got here. Now pick one end, it really doesn't matter which end you pick, and place a piece of glass on top of one of the pistons. Bring it out one further, place a piece of glass on top of the extended stair, bring it out one further, and then make it 2 high like that. And then extend that 2 high wall all the way to the very end. Once you've come to the end, one past the end sticky piston, finish it off with a block end like that. This is going to be your entry end, and then repeat it on the other side. So you should end up with 2 glass corridors that look exactly like that. Then light up the inside, because these upside down stairs are spawnable blocks, and if you don't light up, what could happen is a zombie or another kind of mob might come inside your farm, and that would put pay to potentially any of your villagers if you have got an open gap. So just stick some torches in here, make sure you got enough light. Doesn't matter where you do them, as long as everything is light level 8 or above. And now we just have to do the villager delivery system. Now to do this, we need to make a corridor that the villagers are going to walk along. So bring yourself a row of, I'm using slabs, you could use blocks if you wish, along there, and then a second row along there. Fill this second row up with, again, a 2-high wall of glass, and then grab another row all the way across like that. And then at this end, and it's important that it is at this end, place another 2-high row of glass. You are going to be approaching so as the farm is on our right hand side when the villagers come in. It's really important that we do that. Come to this end of the platform and get a slab 1 block lower than that section there, and on top of that place a sand. Then on top of this one place a hopper moving downwards. Take out that block there and then place a chest, shift clicking into the bottom of that hopper, and then shift click another chest into the side. That's going to allow you to access that chest really easily from the ground. On top of that sound, place a cactus like that. That's exactly right. And then on top of the cactus, place a piece of string which will stop that cactus from growing. You can now block that end off because you know you've done it right. Put a rail on top of that hopper, put another rail next to it, another rail next to that, and then next to that one, place an activator rail. Make sure it's an activator rail, not a powered rail. And then another rail there, another rail there, and then powered rails all the way along like that. Grab a slab there and a slab underneath that activator rail, unless you've used whole blocks, in which case it doesn't matter. Come underneath, put a lever on the bottom, flip the lever, lever on the bottom, flip the lever. We can now come out 1 further slab like this to create another wall and put a 2-high wall of glass along here, and then another row of glass across that, so you've only got a 1 high hole to be able to get through. The villagers will be able to come through that in a minecart, but they won't be able to get back out again. Finally, as before, these slabs are going to be spawnable, so make sure you have got some light inside this chamber, otherwise we could end up with zombies. If you get zombies inside that chamber, you have got big problems because your villagers are going to get converted before you want them to be. So we are going to imagine that that little stash of villagers in the background there is our source of villagers. Perhaps it's a villager breeder. I did a villager breeder just a couple of weeks ago. The link is in the description below. It's an infinite villager breeder. It'll give you more villagers than you can ever possibly want, and it's a really good way to stack up your villagers inside this trading hall. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place a minecart down there and I'm going to send it off to get a villager for me. We're going to pretend that that's come from our villager breeder, and that is going to deliver us a villager, and as it goes over this activator rail, it kicks the villager out to the right hand side. In it comes, off it goes, and that villager goes eventually, when it's not interested in me, and falls down one of the holes and takes the trade that is in the hole. You can see there, that is now, bless him, look. He's a very nice shepherd. We're going to go and do a second one, replace that, off we go, bring in the next villager, and that villager will again take one of the holes that is currently open. You'll notice that the hole above the shepherd is now closed because as it hit the string, that string flicked the observer, and as a result the observer said, send out a redstone signal. That redstone fart closed up that piston, boom, and there we go. We have got a librarian. Just keep repeating that until you have got a trading hall full of villagers. Now, you don't have to fill every single one up at the start. You can fill them up as much as you have villagers, and as you get more villagers, you can add more. It's a really simple system. And this cactus collects up those minecarts that come along, break the minecart, get sucked in by the hopper, and you'll find them inside that chest. Now, it's the fun part. We got to get a couple of zombies. However, it is a perfectly functional trading hall already, even before the zombie. You don't actually need it. If I come and click on this fella here, he's a toolsmith, I can trade with him, that's absolutely great. This guy, what have we got here? He is all thorns. Not sure I like the thorns, so I'm going to take out this. He can't get out, he can't move, but he has ceased to be a librarian. Place that back down, he's a librarian again, and if I just click on him, no, don't like that either. Get rid of that. He ceases to be a librarian. He can't move because that wall is in the way. Place it back down again. He becomes a librarian. I right click on him. Fire aspect. I much prefer that. And you can continue to do that until you get the trade that you want, as long as you haven't traded with the villager. However, sometimes villagers can be quite expensive, and if you want to get a cheaper trade, the best way of doing that is by curing them when they become a zombie villager, which means that you can convert them into a zombie villager using a zombie, and then they'll talk to their mates and everybody will like you. The villagers get what they want, you get what you want. The only thing that doesn't get what it wants is the zombie, and we don't care. Come inside the farm at the open end, and one of the first few on each side, so the second one, drop down that villager so that villager is visible to any zombie. The line of sight is right there. They can't get to you if you're inside the village because look, we're too high. And then just wait till night time. Once it gets to night time, the zombie will come in all of its own accord. You don't have to try and lure it in with anything. You don't have to be the bait. It will come and find the villager itself. It's probably a good idea to stand quite a way back, over here perhaps, to make sure that the zombie sights the villager and not you whilst you're in survival. Once the zombie is in, place a block on top of these blocks here. That will lock the zombie in. Maybe you want to flick your villager back up again before it gets hurt, or maybe you want to cure it straight away with a golden apple and a potion of weakness. But it's entirely up to you. And at that point, what you need to do is either throw something in for the zombie to pick up, or name tag it. That will stop the zombie from despawning and it will stay in there forever. So we have got two name tagged zombies looking very confused. This guy with a strange little name there, and this guy also with a funny name. We are gonna try and convert one of our villagers to a zombie and then convert it back to a trader so as we can get a discount. But before I do that, I am putting a bottom slab roof all the way across each of these branches. That is a bottom slab so it's not spawnable, but it will stop the sunlight from getting in. Now that's quite important because when the villager gets converted into a zombie villager, it will open up as a result of it having dropped down into the hole. And it will be completely open to the sunlight. As a result of it being open to the sunlight, it could burn in the sun and you could lose your villager and then you lose your trade advantage. So make sure you stick a roof on top of this and you will be good to go. Also, come to the end here and come out 4 blocks and stick a lightning rod on top of that block. That is going to stop anything in your farm from burning if it's made out of wood, and also the roof isn't going to burn either. It will also mean that none of your villagers are going to get converted into witches. All the lightning will always hit that lightning rod and it will keep your villagers safe. And you can see here, after dropping it down, we have got a discount emerald. It now only wants 1 emerald for this looting book, and it only wants 3 emeralds for this bookshelf. That is a much better trade. Thank you very much, sir. And what's quite nice is, because they've been chatting, this guy next door has also given me some discounts. This farm is now completely operational and you need to do absolutely nothing else to it whatsoever. However, I think it needs to be just a little bit fancier than this, so let's do it up. So let's just give the barn a bit of a surround. We'll use some oak logs. We'll go all the way around the outside. We'll get some fencing in, some trapdoors, make it look, I don't know, like a barn or something like that. That would be quite fancy. Let's do that. We've created an effect here with some oak and some oak stripped logs to give that variegation. We've used some spruce steps and also some spruce trapdoors to give a little bit of extra texture, and the oak log with that bark darkening everything up. Looks very medieval, looks really quite rustic. We need to get a roof on it, and we definitely need some bushes. This villager trading hall is going to give you as many trades as you could possibly want, up to 40. You can change the trades as long as you've not traded with a villager already. You could even destroy the villager if you really wanted to and replace it with another one by killing it once it was turned into a zombie. You can get zombie discounts. It's everything you need from a villager trader hall. If you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying them, and I will keep on making. Also, if you're not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.